Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we manifest with our feet on the ground and our eyes on the future. We are here to uplift, we are here to pass the torch. We are here to remember the words that built our spine, not the noise that tried to bend it. Call in the ancestors. Let their wisdom move through this room like electricity. If you have ever been loved into your better self, you already know what this is. Burnett is with us.
Quiet now, feel that drum in your chest. Truth in the air, no need to second guess. I hear their own words when the world gets loud. They lift my chin, they pull me out the crowd. Oh, hands on my shoulders, I stand up straight. I do not wait for the world to validate. Not wishing, just fun, I just love made it real. A map in the dark you can actually feel. Oh, pass the torch, do not drop the flame. Like someone else's fire, forget the fame. Ignite and uplift the light beside you. If love is the mission, let your steps guide you. Burnett is with us, Burnett is with us, Burnett is with us. Hey. You be you, and you be you, you be you. Say it like a vow, yeah. You be you, you be you, you be you. Right here, right now. You be you. 42, 42, count that groove. 42, 42. Tell the grown and the youth. Burn off the fake, keep what is real. Put down the weight, let your spirit heal. Over 40 we get allergic to noise. We keep what matters, we sharpen our choice. Nothing be a failure but a try. Say it low and say it sky high. Nothing be a failure but a try. Step in the water, learn you can fly. You be you, you be you. 42, yeah. You be you. I choose a choice. You be you. 42, 42, let's set my goal. Hey, 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 hey. You be you. 42, I am not alone. You be you. You be you. 42, 42, keep it bright, like a fire, citywide, feel alive. Giant, no retreat, stepping strong. You so deep it turned the night into sun. Burnett is with us. Burnett is with us. Pass the torch hand to hand.
Hey everyone, this is William Rochelle, but you can call me Bill, and welcome to UBU Live. And my special guest is author, founder of True Self Society, and the daughter of Burnett. And let's talk about all of that. Welcome, Netta Fei.
Hey, listen, that song rocks. Look, send that to me. I love that.
Did you?
I did. I
tried.
caught a lot of the words, but the 42 UBU Burnett is with us.
Yeah. And also you said, one of the things he said, and this is in the song, nothing beats a failure but a try.
Yeah, I
So
think I heard
I've been following you. You know, I've been listening
that
to
is
what you got going on.
fire. And it's got a little Rihanna kind of Beyonce vibe going on. Once you get past the spoken word, girl,
Yes.
boy, Bill.
You know, we try to
Yeah.
honor. We try to
Oh, it's
honor here.
beautiful.
One
What
of the
a what a beautiful opening.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and it is such a pleasure to have you here and have you here on the last Sunday in February, which is
Mm-hmm.
Black History Month. All of you guys who don't
Mm-hmm.
know that. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that really made me excited about having you on this day is the legacy of the Black man as a father. And we don't hear
Yes.
about that a lot. We know it,
Yes.
but the narrative is quite different. And you took so much from your dad. So let's talk about Burnett for a second.
Sure.
And what was it like growing up in the house with him?
Sure, sure. So, first, I want to say thank you for having me. Thank you for your graciousness to be a stop along the Book of Burnett virtual tour. It means the world to me. And I'm especially high on this day because I had a book event back at my home town, Athens, Georgia, is where I'm from. And my brother pastors the church that my dad once pastored. And we had a book event there. And it was like the Book of Burnett came home type of event. So it was, you could feel the spirit very warm. And I got a few moments to chat with the congregation just about how the this transmission of wisdom came about, and I could just feel my dad. It's like he was just there, and the response was overwhelmingly good, and it was just a wonderful day. And then I come home, have a few minutes downtime, and meet with you and get that surprise with a song.
Wait. So you just got back from Athens?
Yeah, just got back from Athens about 30 minutes ago.
What? Where can I ask where you live now?
I'm in Metro Atlanta, and it's
Okay.
about an
Okay.
hour drive. Yeah.
Okay.
So it
All
was
right.
a church, and then after church event, fellowship and signature wisdom still speaks kind of a event thing. And it was scheduled for the first part of February, but because of the weather, got rescheduled to today. And I said, I got the 4 o'clock, so I just got to make sure I'm back and settled. I would do it on the road, but I didn't want to do it on the road. So I'm glad I made it back. But it feels like a great connection, a wonderful beginning and an end to today's journey of this last Sunday. And it's I'm feeling so good right now.
I'm so happy for you. So
Can't tell you. I feel so good right now.
where do we get the
Um,
book?
you can buy the book anywhere you buy books. The Book of Burnett, anywhere you want to buy books. I do have my own kind of link, but it doesn't matter. Wherever you buy books, you can buy the Book of
Do you want
Burnett.
to put that link in the comments so that we can
Um,
share it?
I
Or
will do that if I can figure out how. If not, I'll say just go wherever you want to go. Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, wherever you buy books, your local indie bookstore would be perfect. Order from there. That would just continue to increase my joy. So,
okay.
and I appreciate each and every one who supports in whatever way support that is. But I certainly appreciate being on UBU Live
Thank you
today.
very much.
So
Thank you
thank you
very
for
much.
that.
So there's one question out there. Great show already. What inspired the title? UBU Live. So I will tell you that inspired the title is that I felt in America that we have stopped speaking to each other as people. And we've
Mm,
started speaking to each other as political views or,
mm,
your how you live your life. And to me, and I'll ask Netta about this, to me, it doesn't matter how you live your life, as long as you're living your best life and you're
Mm-hmm.
living it with integrity, dignity, and love. And
Mm-hmm.
so Netta and I might have different views. We don't know because we've never met before, because as you know, that's the premise of the show.
Mm-hmm.
But even if we do have different views on certain things, we can still walk away and say, we can agree to disagree. You be you. I still love
Yes.
you. And
Yes.
let's move on to a different subject. Where
Yes.
right now it feels, well, previously it felt like we were closing the door on people. What are your
Yes.
thoughts on that?
Yes. Yeah, I tend to agree with you. Um, Although some people may choose to not live in integrity, they may choose to live outside of integrity. They may choose to show up in anger or whatever that is. For me, I know that that's not who they really are. It's some toxic version of them that was created at some point that's causing them to make that choice. But still, whatever that you is as of today, you show up being you, as long as that don't infringe on me being me or
Right.
anyone else being who they are. And I do agree with you that we will have different views on things because we're all unique, but it doesn't mean that mine is right and yours is wrong, and all that stuff. And I choose to have the understanding that I don't have to be in opposition with you,
That.
for me to be me and you to be you. And what I've learned in my journey of true self, and I define that as your divine self before the world told you who to be, right? A
Okay.
return to the original. The more you live your true self, the freer you are to let other people live theirs,
Yep.
without it being, without you're taking it personally, without having to get in an argument. I don't have to convince anyone of anything. You get to choose. But also, I would hope that we can grow to I get the same respect. That
Absolutely.
we don't have the same have the same political views, but don't expect your views to outweigh mine.
Exactly.
And we can agree to disagree, and a lot of times those differences might tell you the boundaries of that particular relationship, right? How can two walk together unless they agree? You cannot walk together unless you agree, but you can exist in the same world, in the same space, in the same city without walking together. So it just
Right.
means we can't walk together, and that's okay. I can find the people I walk with, and you find the people you walk with. And as long as it doesn't infringe on anyone else's rights or peace or ability to live or sustain themselves, then I'm fine.
Right. You
Yeah.
know, if my neighbor's house was burning right now, I wouldn't ask what their orientation was sexually, or what their
Yeah.
religious preferences were, or
Political
I would
views.
go in there and save them. And
Mm-hmm.
and that's love. That's how we should be, because we are
Mm-hmm.
single points of light,
Mm-hmm.
and we're spiritual beings that are connected,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
regardless of what someone else tries
Mm-hmm.
to say about
And,
us.
yeah. And we each have to choose that. Right. I agree with you. It should be that way. We are neighbors. We are our brother's keeper. We love ourselves as we love our neighbors. We have to choose that.
Yes.
And unfortunately, sometimes that calls for maturity that
And
some
sometimes it's
people
hard.
don't have.
a friend of mine said, we have this show called Serenity and Bill Moment. And she said, Bill, you don't love everybody. I said, yes, I do. She said, no, you want to love everybody. You might say to yourself, I wish I could love them. And sometimes it's harder than, depending upon the circumstance. But the
Yeah.
real goal is the goal of understanding. And
Mm-hmm.
as individuals, I generally do love everyone until or unless, or we have our ors, right? But
Mm-hmm.
here is a question from Anita Fletcher. And she wants to know,
Okay.
42 truths, which one changed your life the most?
Okay. All right, Anita. Thanks for that question. Is a big question, I'll say. And the 42, for those of you who don't know, comes from the Book of Burnett, 42 Truths for Living Life Well, Fully, and Without Regret. And these are 42 that just happened to make it into this canonization of the Book of Burnett. He had
Okay, so
many, my father.
you have to tell people what canonization means
Okay.
because I got a second grade education.
The coming together of this
Okay,
book, or sometimes I call it a transmission of my dad's wisdom and truth. 42 of many just happened to make it in. Similar to how King James put together his version of the Bible.
right,
Right, certain books went in, certain ones didn't. Is similar to that. And 42 wasn't anything that I sought to gain, to achieve. I wanted 42. No, there were many of them. It just turned out to be 42. Somewhere my dad said, stop it right there, that's enough. And it just happened to be 42. But I think there's something significant about the 42, because I was able to segment these 42 into 6 different wisdom paths. And I think you can find that on my website. But anyway, back to her question. It's really difficult for me to say which one most impacted me. They're all so powerful, and many of them I lived out myself. When we were growing up, he would start to spit these out from his own experience, what he learned about money, what he learned about relationships, what he learned about keeping your word, what he learned about showing up. He started to share it with me and my 2 older brothers, and they were good. We were hearing it. But when we start to get older and start to live, and these things start to become true and bubble up in our lives, it became even more embedded in who I was, because then I'm saying, okay, this is what dad meant. It wasn't just words he was saying. This is exactly what he meant. And I'm just going to go with the first one to answer Nita's question. The
okay,
first one of this is talk is cheap. At the end of the day, what do you do? And I think that one particularly held my feet to the fire from not only what words came out of my mouth, but what action I used to back them up. And my dad was big on them because as a minister, he was a pastor for almost 50 years. He led a congregation of about 30 churches for 27 years. He was very active in the
you led a
community.
congregation of 30 churches.
Yeah, it was an association,
Okay,
yeah, of churches. Yeah, that, and they were part of the state and national Baptist convention
got it.
structure. So the closer local you got, the smaller the affiliation of churches got. So his particular area was Northeast Georgia, and it was he was a moderator over
Got it.
that association for 27 years. So he came across a lot of people. He spoke to a lot of different kind of people, but a lot of times he would say if he went into a prison to do ministry or to talk to some of the inmates at a prison, he said a lot of words come out of their mouths about what's going to happen when they get out, what this happened. And he said the ones that I may have advocated for or kept up with that came out, once they were free, it was like those words never mattered. And he would tell us a lot of things that people say sound to me like prison talk. You'll say a lot of things because you're in prison right now and you want to be free. So you'll say a lot of things that might align with freedom, but do you really want freedom? Once they're out free, they don't follow up on those words. May go back into the things that first made them incarcerated, vice versa. So his thing was talk is cheap. It's easy to say things. Anything can come out of your mouth.
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, what do you do? If your talk and your walk line up, then that means you're making progress about something you believe. So that one keeps you in check about what comes out of your mouth, what you're thinking about, and what you allow to come out of your mouth, and then whether you're willing to back that up or not.
We are
That
getting a ton of questions for you.
okay, okay.
So like a ton. So I'm gonna give you three, and you can choose which one
Okay.
you want to answer. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
I'm excited that people are listening and joining. I appreciate all of you.
it's 477 people watching right now.
Whoa, what?
On yeah. So
Hey y'all. Thanks for being
hey
here.
y'all.
Hey
Um,
y'all.
so Bradley Pump wants to know what was one truth your father repeated the most. Hold on, I'm gonna give you three. Okay.
Okay.
The other one is, how did your father handle criticism while leading for so long?
Mm.
And the third one is, what does soul expansion look like in everyday life? Ooh, these are good questions.
These are good
I think
questions.
you should answer all of them. So let's start with
I'm
what.
telling you, I was gonna say hold me to the fire on those because those are good questions.
Yeah, so let's start with Bradley Pump. Can you see the screen, by the way?
I can see Bradley's. Okay, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. One truth my father repeated the most. There were a lot of those too, because he loved to spread wisdom. That was his joy. He tickled himself about whether what he spit out and whether hopefully it helped somebody, because that was his end goal. But he rejoiced in doing that. And I always say he would slide truth across the table like a slice of sweet potato pie, because that's how he liked to do it. So he
Okay.
had a lot of them. And again, these are things, some he birthed and some he borrowed, but he tried them all. But one of the things that I think he said a lot and he kept bringing up for me is haste makes waste, because he valued the importance of some contemplation before you did things, that you didn't just jump at stuff, that you took a moment to contemplate what was happening, what your thoughts are about it, where your alignment is, and then you do. And his thing, when you do things hastily, you tend to make waste of money, of time, of relationships, or something. So haste make waste was a big one. I think one right up with that would be nothing beats a failure but a try. Because that has been in me so much, it always comes up. But that was his notion of um, be brave enough to take chances, calculated chances, he would say, but be brave to take chances. If you don't try, you've already failed. But nothing beats a failure but a try. That was a big one.
That was in the song, by the way.
Yeah.
So Jeffrey wants to know, what does soul expansion look like in everyday life? And then
For
someone
me,
else said, what is soul
mhm,
expansion? So
maybe let's start with that
okay.
soul expansion. For me, and I think this is probably a personal answer. I think for each of us, we may have a personal view of soul expansion. But for me, it is your most inner person growing and taking on things that maybe you once were confused about. And so it's growth of your inner person. And to know what that person is, who that person is, you have to stand on a bedrock, for me, on truth. This can't be a mask, ego type of a thing. You have to know that you within the most inner person, and then it's how that person expands is uh, understanding of what's around them and what they allow, or what they bind, not allow, but in their growth and expansion that way. You're 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 embracing more of the world of people in a way that's true for you. Um, I think an example for me in that is going back, Bill, to what you said about loving everyone. And my soul has expanded to the place where I do love everyone, even people I vehemently may disagree with in terms of views, are people that I don't have a relationship with. And I define that love of however I feel about myself. I want good for myself. I want joy for myself. I want health. I want all the good that the universe can hand down, like a full blooming peach tree, that's overflowing with fruit.
Coming
That's
from
what I
someone from
want for
Atlanta,
me.
Peachtree.
Atlanta, Peachtree. If I want that for me, my soul expansion says I want that for you. And I want that for somebody who disagrees with me. Um, like, the person at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I can't think of really anything that I agree with that person on, particularly the way they express themselves and some of the actions that they've taken. But I do not wish that person harm. And I actually can see him as a hurting soul. For those things to come from a person, that has to come from a place of deficit for me. So I say this is a person who probably, when they were a child, did not experience any love. They may have experienced wealth. They may have experienced opportunity. They may have experienced privilege, but I don't believe they experienced love, especially love of self. So that's an example of what I say. Your soul has to be expanded in order to embrace an idea like that. Right? The narrow
Absolutely.
ones will say, "Oh, we're divided." I hate you, you hate me. If you don't see it my way, you know, then you're crazy. Right? We condemn each other for different views, and we all come from different places.
Yeah,
you know, that's when your soul is narrow. For me, when you expand it, and I think that expansion goes into oneness. We are one.
I agree with that
Even the ones we
partially because
even
I'm
the
with
ones
Leslie. So Leslie says, "What about accountability?" So I
sure,
agree. I agree with
sure.
that. But if we're going to go, well, we're only going to stick with this for a second, guys, because we're not political. But if we go back to the person that we're talking about, they've been the same person since the 70s.
Yeah,
The Central Park Five,
yeah,
not allowing black people in his tenements.
yeah.
I don't, I don't wish evil on anyone, but I also don't respect him as a person.
Hmm.
And so that's where I think you and I can love each other and you can still love him.
But
Because
see, again,
I
it's
understand your spirit, right? But I'm not sure
yeah,
if I'm
yeah.
there yet.
Yeah, and soul expansion love, which I believe that we not only have ability to express love, we are love. So I think once you start to embrace that idea of that I am love, not only that I can express love, I am love, then you it's not that easy to cut it off. Or okay, I'm gonna choose this but not that. Because that's just kind of who you are. You walk in the room, it's love. You don't really care who's in the room. So, and also to me, love does not cancel out accountability. It doesn't cancel out consequences. It doesn't cancel out sowing and reaping. So the thing is, what
Okay.
sometimes humans have difficulty with is that we see what we might label as evil prospering, right? We
Okay.
might see those who do evil, they appear to be prospering. And that doesn't sit well with our equations as human. But the universal law of sowing and reaping is a truth. It's not going to not bear that fruit.
Right.
That's a question of when. And
So
the Bible makes, huh?
Leslie's always talking about universal law.
Yeah,
So I think that that's going to resonate with her. Go ahead. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. And I think, there are some ancient writings. That's what I kind of refer to what the Bible was built on, not so much the Bible itself, but things that the word that the Bible was taken from. I mean, the ancient writings, as much as we know, and sometimes the Bible is as close to what we know, but we have to read it with discernment because it has been, filtered through a lot of different things. We have to read it with discernment for the truth. But it says something like those people prospering will soon be cut down. That we can't get caught up into evil looking like prosperity or even being prosperous, because that is going to be cut down at some point. It's just going to be law.
Absolutely.
So
People are saying the chat is on fire. Great live show. We jumped from 400 to 800. I've never had this many people on my
Yay.
live before. So let's get back to the questions really quick.
Sure.
And where did I leave off? How did your father handle criticism while leading for such a long time?
Yeah, and you better believe, Danny, that he got a lot of criticism and pushback on things, and sometimes he would say it's very tough to lead people where they don't want to go.
Absolutely.
Because they would get pushed back. But my dad, he was an interesting man, and I love him that now, particularly now that I can see more clearly exactly what he was displaying when we were growing up. That he, to me, has had a perfect balance of divine feminine energy and divine masculine energy.
That was just
So
said on my
he
show last week.
really.
Yes.
Yeah. And he didn't have a problem taking criticism from people, particularly as a leader when he knew what God was telling him, and that's how he would phrase it, and what the as a congregation that we were going to do. He welcomed all the feedback, all the discussion, and he's like, this is where, we're kind of going. And he didn't have to entertain debate, right? Fussiness and arguing back and forth and everything. He would listen, and sometimes he would come back and ask you a question. What does God say about this? Where are we going here? And one of the big things when he became pastor of this church, just a quick story, it was a
While you're doing
rural.
that, I'm going to put you up live, and I'm going to put the second
Okay.
question up real quick, okay?
Okay. It was a
That's the
rural
second
church.
question there.
Okay. A rural church, not a lot, not a lot of amenities. They had outdoor plumbing, all of those things, greatly in need of a new facility. And about a year after he became pastor there, God placed in his heart that we can do better about where we worship, with so much going on wrong in where they were. So he started planting the seed of the idea of let's start making efforts to build a new church. And the deacons of the church, they didn't see that. And so they would ask him questions about, we're this and we're that, and we do this and we can't do this and we can't do that, and we can't do, how are we going to do it and everything. So they were coming at him with that. And he quietly said, I can't build a church, but the God I serve can. So he had this inner compass that was beyond words in a book, right? He had this inner compass that he followed, and he had confidence in his oneness with God to do what he believed God had told him to do. Within 3 years, they marched in a new church. And, now everybody was happy and rejoicing and everything. But I think that is just the role of a leader. Sometimes a leader will see things that followers can't see, and they find ways to bring the followers along. So he would go back and forth in his divine feminine energy to handle naysayers, criticism, and when he needed to bring the masculine, he would bring that too. Yeah, and he had no problem, as he said, taking the short end of the stick because he knew, his oneness with God would make everything level for him. So that might be a long answer to that question.
It was a great answer, but Kenneth is actually asking a question that I struggle with.
Yeah.
You know, the world is so noisy. And I wake up in the morning and I
Mm-hmm.
say, today's going to be a good day. And then, like, I'm literally leading my life minute by minute because
Mm.
it just shifts and you're hearing so much. So, how do you apply the wisdom in a noisy digital world where we're getting dings and clicks and, all this stuff?
Yeah. That's another very good question. How do we apply this wisdom? And not just Burnett wisdom, because I know you guys have grandmothers, great grandmothers, grandparents, granddaddies, everything who also shared their wisdom with you guys too. But just like Soulful Squirrel just put up, that's what I would say too. It starts from within. How you navigate any day or any situation or even this political climate that we find ourselves in, it starts with yourself within. Who are you? Who are you wanting to show up as? Hopefully your true self, as in as much divinity as you can handle. And what is it that you want? So out of this day, you wake up, hallelujah, and rejoice and do whatever rituals you might need to do to say, I am she. One of my things that I say every morning, I am she who dwells in the unseen of the Most High in oneness with all there is. And not only do I say that, I believe that. So then I have to dictate my actions toward that belief. So what that will require is not grabbing my phone before the enemy, is ready. Because I'm gonna dictate my day, not this phone or the connection I have. And I feel like I have wonderful connection on Substack, just like with you and other people. And digitization makes it easy to stay in contact with people or to know things. But you have to decide for yourself, how much of this am I gonna allow in my space? Because we make that decision. And when we outsource it to something else, that's when we start to have a problem. The news can talk all day about horrible things. How much am I going to digest that in my mind, right? Guard my mind daily, guard my heart with all diligence. Yeah, I don't have to take that in, nor do I have to be nervous about what's happening from Pennsylvania Avenue.
Right. So I need to say something. So I
Hmm.
wear my Apple Watch to sleep. it
Hmm.
it kind of says, you know, what my sleeping habits are. And recently, I was added to a group on LinkedIn, and Coach Carrie started, replying to things. And so my
Okay.
watch kept waking me up at 7 o'clock in
Yeah.
the morning. And I said, and I told them I am not a morning person. Do not. But anyway, I'm just saying that's a
Hmm.
mess with her. Um,
Okay. Did
so
you
we
take your watch off? Did you start taking your watch off before you went to sleep?
no, no, it just started happening the last two
Okay.
days, and
Okay.
and
Okay.
I, and I love the group, so I did not.
Okay.
But
Okay. Okay.
what I have done this morning is I did take it off because
Okay.
it kept buzzing. So I was just like, people were asking, kind of thinking, why are you even responding if you're not a morning person? It's because
Mhm.
this kept,
Mhm.
kept buzzing. But we are
Mhm.
getting a ton of great questions.
Oh, I
And
love
I
it. I
love
love it.
this one too. What does trying look like when you are afraid?
Yeah, that can be tricky when you are afraid. And when you let the fear overtake you, it's very difficult to take any action. It's difficult to think when you're afraid because you the sofa squirrel know you
Yes,
that
very
you're
well.
grumpy in the morning. Yeah, it's difficult to do anything when you're afraid. So I think the trying has to your desire to try has to begin to outweigh the fear. It doesn't mean that fear will be gone completely, because a lot of times we have to act despite the fear. And a lot of times I've found that in the action, in the taking a step, answers will become clearer, fear will get less. In your movement forward, kind of that take that one step, you can muster up more courage to take the next step. And you likely get some feedback, hopefully positive, that will compel you to, okay, take the third step. But
It's
I think,
interesting.
yeah,
It's
if
interesting.
you can acknowledge the fear is one thing, and then you can act despite the fear.
So right now, I have a friend Kinga, and she's really, really trying to, she's always like, Bill, you could do this, you could do this, and she's kind of helping me through my struggle period. However, I am afraid. I am literally afraid, and so when she's asking me, "What do you want to do?" I don't know what I want to do
Yeah.
because everything is shifting so much right before my eyes
Mm-hmm.
that what was real yesterday is irrelevant today. And I'm trying to push back that fear,
Yeah.
but it's there. It's
Okay.
there. And
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out, I believe in all the wisdoms of walking by faith, not by sight.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when you're in the midst of it,
Mm-hmm.
when you're in the midst of it, those words seem hollow
Mm-hmm. I
at
got
some
you.
points.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm I don't know why I'm sharing that, but I just want to share it because
That's
someone needs to
cool.
hear that we all
Sure.
we all have times where we struggle a little bit.
Sure.
What do
Sure.
you
And
what do you
we
say?
can there are moments we're all going to be fearful or afraid of something, even afraid of to move. But I do, for me, I know that we are powerful beings, period. The fact that a lot of times we don't get lessons early on about how to use that power can a lot of times cause us to have more fear than is necessary because we're not taught. You're powerful. Here's how to use your power. Here's how to
Yeah.
use that. Here's what that means. Here's how to use that. And we're powerful. And I do believe we are gods and goddesses. And I'll say little g's.
Hmm.
Little g gods, little g goddesses, which means we are creating with the big G God. So I believe things don't happen to us, things happen with us.
Yeah.
And I believe we have more choice than we ever know in that with. So and when we feel fear, right, we our body's a mechanism to know that, right? It sends us signals that we're fear. Your gut gets jumpy, start sweating, you can't think or whole thing. Your body
Yeah.
will tell us, yeah, you're afraid. If there's an opportunity, sit with that, particularly when you're trying to figure out life. What am I trying to do? It's different from if a lion is chasing you. Okay, that's
You know what
that's
to
you
do.
gotta act to stay alive. But if it's a matter of what step do I take next, to sit with that and say, what am I afraid of, and why am I afraid of this, and from what from what seed is this fear coming from? Most of the time I found in my life is that it comes from false narrative about myself. Agreements I have made about myself that is causing this fear. I don't know if you heard this story of mine, Bill, but I was in a long-term marriage and stayed long in a uncompatible situation. Wasn't violent or domestic anything. It was just not compatible. We
Right.
we we couldn't even speak the same language almost. But because of my beliefs from my Black Baptist Christian, rural upbringing, I believe that there was no option for me to get out of this relationship without disconnecting from God, right? To get a divorce means I'm no longer a child of God and I'm going to hell and, all of that whole thing. Okay, so my struggles in that was something that I had agreed to in myself because of what I surmised from my teachings. And I don't know if anybody, they probably did explicitly say that, but at least that's exactly what I came up with. But when I sat with myself and I went through a 7 year like wilderness experience to figure this out because it was just not productive, and my children could see that there's something about this that's off. And my son, young at the time, maybe 16 at the time, he was like, "Why don't you get divorced?" I'm like, "Oh, I can't get divorced because this and this and that." End up saying, "Divorce is not in my DNA." And he said, "Well, is unhappiness in your DNA?"
Right. Right.
And I kind of woke up. But it's because we believe these things. And I'm closer to God than I've ever been in my life. We believe these things and they cause us anxiety. They cause us to make decisions that probably are things we don't want. But so it again, self-examination, being brave enough to go within and look within and say, where is this coming from? And why is it there? What can I do about it? And how can I then replace it with something that I do want? What do I want? The ancient writings say be hot or cold, but don't be in the middle.
I agree with that too.
Don't say you want
Do
something one
something.
day and the next day you don't, because how can you expect to get anything? I can't give you anything. We want some clarity, right?
Yeah.
We want clarity, and we want to be able to say, a lot of people I ask, what do you want? Oh, I don't know what I want. Nobody ever asked me what I want before. Well, how do you know what to do on a daily basis
Yeah.
if you don't know what you want?
And I think that's the struggle that I'm in right now.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm. Okay.
know, and so I can hear myself on the television. But I do have someone that wants to come up and meet you. Are you okay with that?
Okay. I'm okay with it. If you're
All
okay with it,
right.
I'm okay
Of
with it.
course. Hey.
Hey,
Hi,
Coach
how are
Carrie.
you?
Yeah, she's the
Yes,
one
how are
that was
you?
waking me up this morning.
Oh, Coach Carrie got some
We-
good morning stuff going on.
right. I didn't realize that we were in different time zones, and this group that we are in together is completely new for both of us. And so I was just chatting away, but I did want to have the opportunity, first and foremost, to say Happy Black History Month. And
Yes.
also just to say that I honor your journey with your father. I lost my mother when she was 39 years old. That has
Oh.
always been a struggle. It has always been a challenge, but I'm so blessed that my
Mm.
father is still in the land of the living. He's had
Oh.
brain surgery. He has had heart surgery. He's
Mm.
78 years old and left the
Wow.
hospital being hard headed. You know how we are. And so it's just such an honor to share space with you. And
You
so I'm just
too.
curious, just growing up the way that you did and growing up with your father, what are some messages that you would share with young Black girls during this amazing Black History Month? We know it's 365 days of the year,
Yes,
but what would
ma'am.
you share in particular this month that might resonate with young girls who are looking to find their own voice and not really listen to messages that society has given us about who we should be, about how we should be, how we should live, how we should think?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's lovely to meet you, Coach Carrie. Um, one of the feedback that I've been getting on the Book of Burnett tour is people remembering ancestral wisdom, and especially during Black History Month, our remembering what our ancestors did 100 years ago when they didn't have the benefit of this digital technology and this interconnectedness and all those things, and think about the way they had to live their lives 100 years ago. But they did incredible things. John H. Johnson, think about starting Ebony magazine, and others like him before then. Incredible things that they did. I would love for young people to not just look at the stories of Black ancestors for the month of February. And you know how we drop these little nice, wonderful quotes, and that's it. I would like for them to really examine what it took for this one person, Katherine Johnson, to be a data person for NASA. What did it take for her to do that? How did she live her life? How did she make decisions about her life? Who was guiding her? And I would love for us to uh, add value to our ancestral knowledge, our ancestral wisdom, and not take it so lightly, like, oh, those are old people and they don't know anything. And, I can do this and I can do that. I think we need to bridge that gap. I love young people. I love their energy. I love that they, don't really take a lot of crap these days and they want to do their own things and things like that. But I think how much more impactful they would be and how much more intentional they would be if we could get a good bridge between where they are now and our ancestors of 100 years ago. And for them to respect that path, respect that learning of our ancestors. And if you want to go even further back, before our ancestors got into this country, we were connected to nature. We were connected to the earth, right? We knew things about the sky, and the sky told us things. We knew things about the plants and the grounds and the seasons, that dictated how we lived our life. I think that's important today, right now. So that's what I would want to share with young people. Those pathways are not for
And
nothing,
I
and they don't have to reinvent the wheel. The what my dad left, he left to spare us, not to brag, not for him to get glory, but for us to be spared the troubles that he had to go through to be able to learn these things. That's gold, and we need to dig it up and use it.
Absolutely.
I definitely agree with that. I love that you said that. And then I just want to add one more comment, that speaking of taking that knowledge and that wisdom from our ancestors, I remember I was cooking a meal, and I was cooking some collard greens and some macaroni and cheese and some candied yams. And my
Wait, where do you live?
She cooking.
Yeah.
And so my son, who is now 15, but was much younger at the time, he was like, "Mommy, I don't want any greens." I was making his plate. He said, "Mommy, I don't want any greens. That's old people food." I said, "How do you think that they got old?" So he "Oh, these greens are good, right?" And so you just have to be able to share those messages that resonate with our children so that we know who we are and from whence we've come. And I love
Mhm.
that you talked about the reality that of where our story starts. I was a public school teacher for 20 years, and I
Mm.
always, even though I wasn't a licensed history or social studies teacher, I always embedded that in my classes. And I always talked about what you spoke of earlier about us being royalty. We are descendants of royalty. We are kings, we
Yes.
are queens. And I
Yes.
always taught my
Yes.
students that in my classroom, that you
Yes.
are who you think you are, and what they see is what they'll be. And so I had to
Yes.
model that not just in voice, but also in action. So I make sure
Yes.
that I demonstrate that royalty, whether it's in the
Yes.
classroom, whether it's in the courtroom, wherever I am, I always want to demonstrate that. So thank you for being such an amazing example. I
Thank
always
you.
look to amazing women because, again, losing my mother so young, I had to find that mothering in our
Mm-hmm.
community. And so I thank you for
Mm-hmm.
being one of those branches on that tree of life for me.
Mm-hmm. You preach it, girl. You preach it, Carrie. And I thank you for being a good mother to your son and any other children you might have, and for sending that message, because where we are now as African Americans and our experience is unique from other African people, people of African descent, is that that got taken from us. And our ancestors did the best they could with what fragments they had left. And unfortunately, our history got intertwined with the colonizers' history, and it became that story. But that's not our story. And we need to get back to our story and understand, that DNA of us. And it is highly divinely connected. That's how we
Absolutely.
became kings and queens, and the pyramids got where they got, and all that other stuff that's happening. The creations that people can't even explain,
Mhm.
in a land of desert.
Yes, ma'am.
We have to remember that. Yeah. And
And
be that.
one of the things that Bill and I were talking about earlier was that song from the movie The Wiz, circa 1978. And the song, and I'm not going to sing it, but the
Don't
song,
bring me no bad news. I'll sing it.
yes, it's when I wake up in the afternoon, which it pleases me to do. Don't nobody bring me no bad news.
And I said that. I sent that to her because she was waking me up before noon.
But I just want to tie that into this because I appreciate you bringing the good news. I really do appreciate you bringing the good news. And I appreciate William for sharing time and space with me to have this opportunity to meet you. I'm like, I've got to meet
Love
her.
that.
He, is sharing his stage with me. And so I'm so grateful for
Love
that.
that. Love that.
We have to
Generous
support each
Bill.
other. We have to support each other. And
We do.
Carrie has a show at 6:00, and so
Okay.
I've never met Carrie before. So
What?
yeah,
Her
we met through
beautiful
a group
self.
2 days ago, right?
Wow.
And
Beautiful.
this morning I said to her after screaming at her for waking me up, I said, "Can you come on and just kind of join us and then talk about your show that's starting in about an hour?"
Yes. Yes, please. I'd love to hear it.
Oh, absolutely. And so, what I'm going to talk about today, first of all, my show is called Clarity from the Heart. By
Mm,
profession, I transitioned from my school district career, realized that I was either going to have to work until I died or retire poor. And so I realized that, and so I have retirement clarity conversations with people, but I
nice.
understand that money matters, our mindset matters. And if we don't get our mind together, we'll never get our money together. Money
Right.
doesn't go away, it just goes to somebody else. And so I talk
Yes.
about that. So tonight at
Mm,
6 p.m. Eastern time, I'll be talking about debt stacking, but not in the way that you think. I'm really
okay.
going to connect that into mindset. And so I appreciate you, William, for bringing that up. But that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about tonight. And my
Nice.
platform it's on LinkedIn, it's on YouTube. You can
Okay.
find me anywhere at Great Finances on all of the platforms. But I would love for you to come and be a part of that conversation. It's a quick 30 minutes. I don't have a
Okay.
great opening like he had for you. I got a little 30-second
Uh-huh.
Canva creation, right? So don't be later. You'll
Hmm.
miss it because it's real brief.
Did you like
But
the opening?
I love the opening.
It's
Okay.
The opening
beautiful.
was absolutely fantastic.
Okay,
So
you hold on
Carrie,
for
if
a second.
I
Carrie,
want to
don't
know
go away.
if I search on YouTube Clarity from the Heart, will it pop up on YouTube?
It will pop up, but I'll drop it in the chat for you as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
I'll look for
Have
Okay.
you
you on
checked out
LinkedIn and
Substack?
personally send it to you.
Have you checked out
Okay.
Substack,
I
Netta,
have a
since we've been on?
friend who coaches teachers toward retirement, and I want to send her a link um before 6 o'clock.
Have you
Sorry.
checked on
Perfect. Thank you. I
Substack to see
appreciate
if
that.
we're on there, Netta?
I will check my computer.
You had one job.
So was that what I was supposed to do?
Because I feel like I'm
Listen,
always
if
neglecting Substack.
if
I don't understand how it works, and
if
you're
if
the famous
I
Substacker.
if I check it on my phone, I'll probably hang up on you.
Oh, don't do that. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're good.
So
We've
no,
been
no,
on for an
no. I'm
hour.
I'm I'm checking on my computer right now. So while we
Because I don't
talk.
know if people are commenting. I'm kind of lost, and I don't know how to use Substack. I know that sounds weird, but
Oh, okay. I see live with William. Well, there are 3 viewers out here.
okay.
Okay. And yep, and we're all out here. So I don't know who's on Substack.
I don't have a huge following there, so it's okay.
Yeah. And that's fine. But that's a start.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a start.
So
So I'll keep it up in case someone on
says
Substack
something.
has a comment. Feel free to comment, Substackers.
How are you feeling about the conversation, Netta? It's
I'm
been an
feeling
hour.
great. It's lifting me even higher. I don't even know if I'll be able to sleep tonight after all of this goodness. This is great stuff. And I love
You
it. The other ones that I've joined on your UBU live, they're warm just like this. Just conversations with people. That's
okay. Thank you. I appreciate
that's
that.
wonderful. That's great. I feel
I
great.
really, really, really appreciate that because I was sharing with Netta behind the scenes that I'm an introvert. So, my show persona and my actual uh energy is different. And I just come alive
I,
a
I,
little bit
I don't think
when this
Kara
happens.
believes that. The look on her face is saying, like, yeah, I don't believe
Yeah, I am. I
that.
definitely am. Do you want to close out the show with anything specific, Netta?
Not really, just that I've enjoyed all of you. The questions were amazing. I know we didn't get to all of them. You guys can hit me up on Substack or wherever you find me, nettafei.com. I'm on YouTube, but not actively. I just push things out there. But I love conversating with people and sharing ideas. I think that's how we get better and we expand and how we grow, being able to share ideas with one another,
So right
share
now, the Book of
thoughts. So
Burnett is for sale. It's it's
yes, it
it's
is.
launched, and I'm
Yes.
going to get that out to everybody. Uh, Netta Fei will share the link with me,
Yes.
and I'll share it on my Substack, on my LinkedIn, on my YouTube, so that
Yes.
we can all support her. Um,
Thank
the
you.
the outro, if you guys can wait for 2 minutes,
Okay, sure.
backstage, the three of us will converse. But the outro is not unique to this show. I actually made it before 2025, before 2026, and I
Okay.
aired it today because I chose it today because it reminded me this morning of what I had agreed, the contract I had made with myself in 2025, which was to leave all that negativity behind me. And
Yeah.
it kind of creeped in. And so this is a reminder to self. And I thank everybody for showing up. Netta Fei, you have been a
Hmm.
great, great guest.
Thank
I love the
you.
conversation. Hang on for a
Thank
second
you. Thank you
while
for
we sign
having
off.
me.
Of course. Of course.
Thank
We'll
you.
do this again, by the way.
Okay.
Don't
Sounds
go
good.
anywhere, though.
Okay.
You rock my world in 2025. So why would I sit and silence myself when I'm the one who knows my soul, my world, my universe, my background, my heart, my love, my unique sound. Yeah, hey, 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 hey. My intention, my strength, my bold desire to take you, only you, and lift us higher. As we walk down the street, face the weight of the struggle, just know it's the moment we break in this bubble. The light feels clear, my faith is higher, my mind feels new, it's time to fly. So let's go, let's groove, let's make this a hook. We gon' play it again, into the whole